I'm back. Hey, it's your man Trey Day, every day, all day, and welcome to another edition of the Through My Two Blue podcast, baby. Oh, it's so good to be back on the podcast. I had to take a little forced vacation. Have you ever had to do that before? It's the absolute worst. Being able and available to work, yet you can't because your company said so. And I absolutely love my company, by the way, and I understand why I had to do what I had to do. But good Lord Jesus, I have to stay busy. I have to feel like I'm contributing to the family. Don't get it twisted. I love vacations, as you well know, through my Trade A Travels website on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, tradeA.com, and all those sites where I post all my travel photos. In fact, I made a promise to myself my senior year in high school that I would leave the country at least once per year. And so far, I haven't done so in 2020. I had stuff planned that got canceled by this dang coronavirus crisis. And that's kind of what we're going to talk about today. All the stuff that I missed out on during my forced vacation as I catch you up inside of the Power News Hour. I'm still quarantined. I'm still staying safe. As you know, I was one of the very first in the entire United States to call for a national mask mandate. And finally, the CDC caught up with me, even though I don't see masks on in half the places I go. At least it has been mandated where I live in Little Rock, Arkansas. I made trips to the grocery store, the gas station, even the gym during my forced vacation. And it was very interesting to see who had masks on, where they had masks on, who didn't. By the way, if you're not having your mask over your nose, there's really no point in you even wearing the mask. Now they say eye protection is just as important. Luckily, I'm a glasses wearer. I don't wear my contacts too often. And since this coronavirus hit, I haven't worn my contacts at all. I keep my glasses on at all times, except when I go swimming. And I go swimming early in the mornings, about one or two times a week when nobody else is there. In fact, when the pool first open is when you can catch me because I like to, stay fit, at least somewhat. Keep my immune system up in case I ever do get coronavirus. I'll be able to hopefully fight it off and not spread it to anybody else. That's why I wear the mask. Not for me, for everybody else. But I will say, if you get a custom mask, like a Black Lives Matter mask, as I now have, a smiley face mask, stuff like that, it makes it funner to wear. I always look for it now as like a fashion statement to go along with my outfit because I don't get to go out that much. So when I do go to the grocery store, that's an occasion for me to get dressed up. You know what I'm saying? And it's real cool. I still get recognized every now and then, even with the mask on. I was wondering how that would make a difference in my grocery shopping experiences because usually about one to two times I'll get stopped and just say, hey, you Trey Day, and can you play my record on the radio or can you kick so and so a shout out? And I love that because I love to have that connection with my listeners. I want to feel like they know me from stuff like this, from the podcast. And seeing those connections actually happen in person, even with a mask on, lets me know I'm doing an all right job because even if they can't see me, they can hear me. You know what I'm saying? The magic of radio, the theater of the mind. Absolutely love it. Also, I missed my birthday radio show as I normally have each and every year, kicking off Leo season on July 23rd. But thank you to everybody who shot me a message on social media: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Trey Day Every Day All Day, TREDAY. That's Trey Day Every Day All Day, TREDAY. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much for continuing to show me the love on there. I always am blown away. I think I had over 3,000 happy birthday shout outs. And it really touched my heart. I just wanted to let you know that. Thank you. For real. It made my day. It really did. Didn't feel like a birthday this year. Even though I did get get hooked up, man. The family took good care of me, and we got a whole bunch of birthdays in this family lined out in a row. So it's birthday season here at the Trey Day household. Also, a passing of one of my heroes, John Lewis. I was in my feelings about that. I got a chance to meet him twice. Twice. Once in Atlanta at there's this fire station right next to the Ebenezer Baptist Church, of course, where Martin Luther King preached, and got a chance to meet him there. As of course, he was a Georgia representative in Congress. We talked for about 10 minutes that day. I read his book, Walking with the Wind. I had him sign it for me, and we talked about it. He got to know me a little bit, and I got to ask him a whole bunch of questions. I wish I would have had my cell phone with me. I think I got a picture somewhere, even though I can't find it. I think I got a picture somewhere, but I wish I would have recorded the conversation because it was really powerful. And then, speaking of powerful, I got a chance in Selma, Alabama, to walk across the Edmund Pettus Bridge with him. And they're talking about renaming that bridge the John Lewis Bridge, which of course I'm all for. However, I just think that's kind of I don't know, a nugget. And I kind of want the whole meal with John Lewis. We need to pass the Voting Rights Act. That's what we really need. The naming of the bridge is nice and all, and yes, we should do that, but that's not the substance of the matter. Voting rights need to be strengthened here in the United States of America. As crazy as that is to say in 2020, it is definitely still the case. So, as John Lewis instructed us, we continue to march on. We continue to fight on. We keep on moving. My guy, John Lewis. If you haven't read the book yet, go to your local library and get it. It's called Walking with the Wind. I think you'll find it very fascinating. The title of the book alone should get you hooked. Why is it called Walking with the Wind? Well, because he grew up in a shack down in Troy, Alabama, where tornadoes come through occasionally. And every time a tornado came through the Troy area, they had to walk with the wind in the house. The wind was blowing one direction, the whole family would go in the other direction to keep the house on the ground. Oh, I absolutely love that book, man. Y'all gotta go check it out. Once again, Walking with the Wind by John Lewis. If you need my copy, I'll be glad to lend it out, but since it's autographed, I must demand that you make sure and return that joint. Matter of fact, I need to know you. I need to do a background check. I need to trust you in order to hold these pages right here that I have in my left hand, okay? Still, things are crazy in the White House, and they will remain so until November. Remember when I predicted right here on this podcast that he was going to start laying the groundwork? Because he ain't leaving. He is not trying to leave, even if he gets voted out. You know, he's going to be like, oh, that election was illegitimate. Oh, I got cheated. You know, all that stuff which he thinks will enable him to enact some powers of government to stay where he currently is. I just pray and I hope and I will put my action in motion in getting people registered to vote. In fact, I've already done so with my 17-year-old. Took him to a local library last week and got his papers to vote, to be registered. And in fact, this week, I said, hey man, you got that filled out yet? No, sir. Well, then fill it out, man. We got to make sure we on point with this election because trust me, they're going to try every single trick in the book to remain in power. And we got to defeat this man in 2020. I don't know how much worse things can get for some Americans, but I know that they can under this president. And we must take action. So I'm begging you, please do what you can to promote the vote this year. Promote the vote. Get people registered. Take people to the polls with you. If you want to mail in now, you can do so in Arkansas. The coronavirus is indeed a legitimate reason to mail in your ballot, so you don't have to worry about catching the virus from somebody you don't know in a voting line. And I highly recommend you mail in your vote or you early vote. I always like to early vote. I like to go in person, and I like to go early so I don't have to wait in lines. So no matter how you vote, 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 vote. This election more important than ever. And I'm kind of kicking myself a little bit that I didn't run. I always kind of flirted with the idea in the back of my mind, but never thought about really actually putting it out there for the people to try elect me to whatever position that I feel like I could possibly win. But I really wish I would have ran against Tom Cotton. This dude here, man. Oh my gosh. And they don't have anybody like legitimate running against him from the Democratic Party. So it's blowing my mind a little bit how that happened. And if I would have known that this guy that they did have would drop out a day after the deadline passed, then I would have for sure put my name in the box, and it'd be Travis Trey Day Rowan going up against Tom Cotton. I'd have no clue what I'm doing, but I would have people with me who do. And if you're against racism and all that stuff, then hey, I would get your vote. Because that guy on the other side, my goodness, man, hot mess. Hot mess. He doesn't represent a lot of Arkansas's views. However, he does represent some, a small fraction, but because nobody really is running against him, he'll likely win another term, and I hate it. I wish I would have ran for that position right there. All right, glad to be back on the podcast. Can't stress that enough. I really just wanted to ramble for a little bit today, and I did that. So I'm gonna get out of your way. I'll have a more detailed podcast for you next week with notes and a script maybe that I can follow instead of just going off the top of my head. But sometimes that's best, you know what I mean? Freestyling with your man Trey Day on the podcast today. All right, make sure you give us a 5-star rating on your Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to your podcast audio on. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram all have Through My Two Blue pages. Please follow us, like us, send us a friend request. ThroughMyTwoBlue.com is the official website. That's ThroughMyTwoBlue.com. And I will see you next week right here on the podcast we call Through My Two Blue. Thank you.